Welcome back. All right, 7-game night in the NHL tonight. Busiest night I've had, and there were 6 games on at the same time. So good practice, and I kept up as best as you can when there's 6 games on at the same time. All right, so let's start things off looking at the New York Rangers and the Buffalo Sabres. This is not the start the Buffalo Sabres wanted to their season, is it? So it was Shesterkin versus Levi. They had a nice ceremony before the game for Rick Jeanneret. There was an early jump for the Rangers, which happens. A lot of the time when you have these pregame ceremonies, the visiting team may have a bit of a jump early. The Sabres press at 2 minutes. Shesterkin holds on there. And then on a rush chance, Lafreniere buries a rebound for the Rangers. Panarin and Hedl with the assists at 3:47. So Lafreniere on pace for 82 goals. Rangers then press for another. Cousins was denied on a fast break. Peterka then has a rush chance that was blocked. Kreider has a hit that draws a crowd. And because there was retaliation, it ends up being 4-on-4 for 2 minutes rather than a penalty on Kreider and a power play for Buffalo. Kakko has a screenshot that saved the Sabres rush. Skinner was getting some chances. Clearly wanted a goal early there, not getting it. We then get a power play for the Rangers, and they score on it. It's Chris Kreider from Fox and Zibanejad. That's at 12:21. He wired it. Kreider was screening in front, and he tips it into the net. So it's 2-0 for the Rangers. That took a lot of the crowd out of it. Hitting ramps up by both teams. The Sabres would press in the final minute, but after the first period, it is 2-0 in favor of the New York Rangers. Second period, early power play for the Rangers. The Sabres prevent a setup. That's killed off. Samuelsson fires one wide on a 3-on-2. Girgensons has a slot shot. That's kicked aside. The shots are 3-2 for the Rangers, 7.5 minutes in. So not a lot of shots at that point for Buffalo. They didn't get very many in that period at all. Greenway prevents a possible goal. 30 minutes into this game, the Sabres had 9 shots. So Rangers keeping them to the outside pretty well. And then Panarin at 12:49, unassisted, buries one from the high slot. So turnover, it's in the back of their net. That makes it 3-0 Rangers. Tuck then breaks up a chance for Kakko, so it could have been worse. And then at 18:30, Peterka gets Buffalo on the board. He scores his first of the season from power and Yoki Haru. 36.4 seconds left. The Sabres go to the power play, so that rolls over into the third period. They're down by 2. They need a goal here. The Rangers finish the kill. The shots are 2-0 for the Sabres, 3 minutes in. Tuck has a rush chance that saved. The Rangers press at 4.5 minutes. There's a near miss on a tip by Zibanejad. There's a power play for the Rangers. Becomes 27 seconds of 4-on-4. It ends up being a mess, and we end up with a brief 5-on-3 for the Sabres, but the Rangers doing a good job of blocking them, keeping them to the outside. Skinner couldn't bury one, and then Cousins is denied. And then it's a 2-on-1 shorthanded rush, and Kreider puts it around Levi into the net. Zibanejad and Miller with the assists. That's at 11:34. So Kreider with a power play goal and a shorthanded goal tonight. Rangers then finish the kill. That's the important part. Goalie pull happens with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left, and then Trouba hits the empty net at 18:31 from Kreider and Zibanejad. So Kreider with an assist to go with his 2 goals. And the Rangers then get a power play to close it out. They win this one 5-1. They make it look easy. So they're 1-0, Buffalo 0-1, and Buffalo cannot afford to get off to a slow start. Like, they have to bounce back from this in their next game. Shots on net, 12-7 for the Rangers in the first, 9-5 Rangers in the second, 12-7 Buffalo, or 12-9 Buffalo in the third. Final shots 30-24 for the Rangers. Power plays, the Rangers 1 for 4, Buffalo 0 for 3. The hits 22-15 Buffalo, because they got Clifton in the lineup. Clifton was throwing hits, and so I don't expect Buffalo to get out hit as badly as they did last year. Levi, 26 saves on 30 shots. Shesterkin saved 23 out of 24. And he wasn't overly busy for large stretches of the game, but Igor looked good. So that's bad news for the rest of the league. All right, next up. Philadelphia and Columbus. This was more entertaining than I had expected it to be, actually. It was Hart versus Merzlikins. An early chance for Laine. That gets held. The shots are 4-2 for Columbus at 3 minutes, but then it's a turnover, and it was a 2-0. The announcer said 2-1, and I'm like, nah, that was 2-0. Farabee from Couturier at 3:32. Sean Couturier back in the lineup. What a difference he makes. Defensively, offensively, on the power play, on the penalty kill. Yeah. Jackets look for a response. Hart was looking to steal one tonight. Kind of sort of did. Things get punchy on a hold by Hart. Flyers press are kept to the outside, and then Bean on a rush. He buries a rebound. Fantilli and Marchenko with the assists at 8:23. So Fantilli making his family, and there was like 30 of them present, something like that. Happy with the assist on that one. That ties it at 1. And then there's a post for Sillinger. The goal light came on, but the puck did not go in. So it looked like Columbus might have some momentum. Maybe they're going to get the lead. However, at 12:43, Konechny buries one far corner on a rush. Lawton with the assist there. That makes it 2-1 for Philly. Columbus presses with 3.5 minutes left. Texier's denied on a net drive. Early chances for the Flyers in the second period, who are already up 2-1 after the first period. Danforth is then denied and close. The Flyers press at 3.5 minutes. There were no easy pucks for Columbus at this point in the game. Again, you can tell John Tortorella's coaching style with the Flyers, the shot blocking, the really good defensive play there. Things get punchy in front of the Flyers bench. We end up with 2 minutes of 4-on-4 after that. Shots are 5-3 for the Flyers at 9.5 minutes. We get a power play for Columbus. Things get pushy on a hold by Hart. There's a knee-on-knee that sends Werenski out. It did not look good. Did not at all. So it was 5 minutes on Hathaway. They review it and they dropped it to 2 minutes. So Columbus fans were not happy that it got dropped to 2 minutes. And Werenski being out, it did not look good. He needed help leaving the ice. So hopefully it's not as bad as it looked. There's a shorthanded break. Elvis saves. That power play is actually killed off. Jenner hits the side of the net with an attempt, and then Lawton nearly tips one in late in the second period. But after the second, it is still 2-1. So third period, early press by Columbus. Couturier, again, hadn't missed a beat. Just absolutely great play by Couturier. Atkinson was pretty good too. There's a power play for Columbus. The Flyers are aggressive. They clear it out. It ends up being 29 seconds of 4-on-4. Everything gets killed off during the Flyers part of the power play. They had one shot on theirs. Peak prevents a goal. The Flyers go back to the power play. That was unsuccessful as well. Then we get a power play for Columbus. That leads to a shorthanded chance for Lawton. That's held. And then we get 55 seconds of 4-on-4. So just penalty parade going on at this point. The goalie pull would happen with 2 minutes left, where everything's back to 5-on-5 at this stage, and Atkinson hits the empty netter from Carter Hart at 18:31. So Hart's on pace for 82 points if he plays every game. So that makes it a 3-1 lead. However, they pull the goalie again and they score. Laine scores from Marchenko at 19:16, buries it from the slot during the 6-on-5. They pull the goalie again. Konechny scores in the closing second at 19:59. Lawton and Sanheim with the assists. So Philly wins this one 4-2. They go to 1-0 in the season. Columbus 0-1 with the loss, and 2 goals being of the empty net variety. It's unusual for that to happen because then both goaltenders only allowed 2 goals. Shots in this one: 15-13 Columbus in the first, 14-9 Philadelphia in the second, 10-9 Philadelphia in the third. Final shots 37-33 for the Flyers. Power plays: Philadelphia 0 for 3, Columbus 0 for 4. The hits, not very many. 15-9 for Columbus. Merzlikin saves 33 out of 35. Hart saves 31 out of 33. So, again, for Philadelphia, it's a good start. For Columbus, this looks similar to last year. We'll see if they get their way out of this. Hopefully so. Next up, Detroit and New Jersey. This was a highly entertaining game, which you could see coming a mile away because Jack Hughes is involved. So it's Husso versus Vanacek. There's an early press by the wings, but they're kept to the outside. Kostin ends up hitting the post on a rush. The shots on net are 4-0 Red Wings at 3.5 minutes. They came out and played very well early. Toffoli to Bratt, near miss there as the Devils get some pressure. We then get a power play for the Devils. That leads to a shorthanded rush chance for Larkin that was saved. That power play's killed off. Wings then get a power play of their own, and Sprong on a face-off win. He hits a post. So 2 posts for Detroit. Doesn't lead to a goal, obviously. That power play's killed off. Strong forechecking by the Wings as well. Again, really good road game by the Wings. Just not a lot of puck luck early there. Fans call one. The referee doesn't, but the referee makes up for it by giving the Devils a power play shortly thereafter. It's a 4-minute high stick that's reviewed, and no, it's actually rescinded. It's a follow-through. So then we get 1 minute and 26 seconds of 4-on-4. So the 4-minute high stick is I believe on Detroit on that one. I should have put that on the board. But at any rate, that didn't happen. We get 1 minute and 26 seconds of 4-on-4, ending the New Jersey power play, which the fans in New Jersey did not appreciate, but everything gets killed off anyways. So we go to the second period, still scoreless. Wings had the early jump again. Kopp has a net drive that saved. Mercer and Meyer then nearly score at the other end. Better effort by the Devils. Holtz is denied. Both goaltenders pretty solid. The shots on net are 6-1 for New Jersey at 6.5 minutes. Devils press at 7.5 minutes. Husso saves. He's the one keeping this scoreless at the time. Kopp has a rush chance that's held. Larkin at a blast was held. Great save on that one by Vanacek. Things get pushy on a hold by Husso. Hamilton's denied. The Wings rush. And then Sprung. He buries it. It just gets in there from near the net. He scores from Rasmussen and Hall at 12:14. So that makes it 1-0 for Detroit. But then we get a power play for New Jersey pretty shortly thereafter, and they score on it. It's Jack Hughes from Palat. It was basically from behind the goal line, and he banked it in off the goaltender's mask. So creative goal there by Jack Hughes. It's similar to what McDavid was trying to do last night, bouncing it in off Demko's mask. And at 13:39, that makes it a 1-1 tie. Devils go back to the power play. That's killed off. But at 18:43, Jack Hughes scores again. Toffoli and Siegenthaler with the assists, and that leads to MVP chants from New Jersey fans. Settled. It's one game. It's game 1 of 82. I'm not saying he won't be MVP, but just pace yourself. Anyway, so after the second period, it's 2-1 for New Jersey. Third period, early jump again for Detroit. They came out in each period and played well to start. McLeod then has a net drive, that's held. Sprong had a net feed, that misses. Marino to Holla, near miss there. We get a power play for the Wings, and they score on it. It's DeBrincat. He wires it from the slot. Larkin and Gostisbehere with the assists at 10:43. It's a good deceptive shot by DeBrincat there. Then we get a power play for the Devils with 7:23 left. That is unsuccessful, but at 15:37, New Jersey scores. It is Hamilton from Siegenthaler, so it was a turnover, and it's buried by Hamilton with a shot from the point. The Devils then look for more. With 2:40 left, the Devils get a power play. It lasts 10 seconds and then becomes a 4-on-4. So the Wings pull the goaltender to make it a 5-on-4, and that leads to an empty net goal by Howla. Siegenthaler and Marino with the assists at 18:28. They would pull the goalie again, which allows Detroit to actually get one back. It's Fabry from Confer and Wallman at 19:26. Buries a rebound there. And while the announcers were like, there's still plenty of time for Detroit, I kept saying, there's not, though. We had 34 seconds left. You got to get the goalie pulled. You got to set it up. I'm not saying it can't happen, but it's rare. And New Jersey holds on and wins this one 4-3. They go to 1-0 on the season. Detroit drops to 0-1. The records are really easy this time of year. Shots on net, 14-6 Detroit in the first, 15-11 New Jersey in the second, 10-6 Detroit in the third. Final shots, 35-27 for the Wings. Power plays, Detroit 2 for 4, New Jersey 1 for 6. The hits, 32-24 in favor of New Jersey. Husso saved 23 out of 26. Vanacek saved 32 out of 35. And again, it was a close game. Detroit plays this game against most other teams, they'd probably get the win. New Jersey's just really darn good at this whole winning thing now, aren't they? All right, next up, and last one on this board is St. Louis and the Dallas Stars. So it's Binnington versus Ottinger, as we could have expected with these teams. Starting the season, the starting goalies are pretty easy to predict too. Kyrou has a turnover chance, that's blocked. The shots are 2-1 for the Stars at 3.5 minutes. Suter has a screenshot, that's held. Smith, there's an attempt by Steele to get it to Smith. There's a near miss there. Kyrou's then denied on a turnover chance. Pavelski nearly scores, but the puck gets cleared out before it goes in. We then get a power play for the Blues. And strong board play by Dallas in this one. That was killed off. Parayko's then denied after. Blues go right back to the power play. Another strong kill early on. There was no setup. And after the kill, the Stars get some pressure. 2:14 left. The Stars with a power play, and they score during that power play. However, it is ruled that the play was offside, so that goal comes off, and then St. Louis finishes the kill. So it's scoreless after one. Second period, 18 seconds. Did not take long. Jamie Benn gets on the board. He scores from Delandry and Johnston. Tucker then had a screen shot that was saved as the Blues are pressing for an answer, and then Tucker scores on his next opportunity from Vrana and Blais at 2:37. So the lead does not last very long for the Dallas Stars. Blues then look for the lead. We get a power play for the Stars. That turns into a 4-on-4. Strong forechecking by Dallas. Shen had a screenshot that was saved. Hakanpää fires one high from the slot. Stars press with 3.5 minutes left. With 2:16 left, the Stars get their third power play. So they had a power play with 2:14 left, and they had a power play with 2:16 left. Just odd how that works out. There's a shorthanded 2-on-1. Sundqvist is denied there. Johnston's then robbed in the closing seconds. So it's 1-1 after 2. Third period. Johnston fires one wide on a rush. Kyrou then has a near miss from the slot. Shots are 4 apiece at 5.5 minutes. Vrana has a net drive that's defended. Steele is then denied as the Stars press. Shen fires one wide from in close. There's a near miss for Harley then in close as well, as the Stars were rushing down the ice, and Harley right in the middle trying to stick one into the net. Teams exchange rush chances. Pavelski then had a slot shot that's blocked. Stars defense coughing it up a bit much late. Doesn't cost them, but they got to watch that going forward. Thomas then missed on a buzzer beater, and it was close. So we go to overtime. In the overtime, Blues control early. Ottinger holds. Johnston misses on a wraparound, and then he fired one wide on a rush as well. Robertson's robbed. The Stars get a power play, but we end up going to the shootout. And in the shootout, Matt Duchene had the winner for his brand new team. So Dallas wins in a shootout, so that's different than last season. The Dallas Stars go to 1-0 with the shootout loss. St. Louis obviously 0-1. Shots on net in this one, 10-6 Dallas in the first, 12-10 St. Louis in the second, 10-3 Dallas in the third, and then 4-3 Dallas in what was a pretty entertaining overtime. Final shots 34-24 for the Stars. Power plays, Dallas 0-4, St. Louis 0-3. Hits were 20-16 for St. Louis. Binnington was very good, 33 saves on 34 shots. Ottinger was excellent as well, 23 saves on 24 shots. And there you go. You guys are caught up on the first board. Now, I need to change boards. Alrighty, now we get to the shutouts, and I remembered the great magnets. I did. I remembered those magnets. I'm so proud. I got her done. So, Florida and Minnesota, these teams don't like each other. It is amazing to see that this was probably the ugliest game of the night when it comes to fisticuffs and just general dislike for one another. And it's always odd to me when they're not in the same conference. So they'll only play each other once the rest of the year. So it's Bobrovsky versus Gustafsson. Gustafsson's picking up where he left off last year. Barkov has a net feed. That doesn't connect. Early jump is for Florida. They're leading in shots 4-0 a minute and a half in. So Gustafsson's theft starts early. Wilder turning it over. Gustafsson pretty darn sharp. That's an understatement when you look at the score. Faber ends up scoring from Boldy. It's a point shot against the flow of play at 7:54. It's just, that's why they say just throw it at the net. You never know. Panthers press with 9 minutes left. They press again with 4.5 minutes left. They had a lot of opportunities in that first period, it seemed. Wild press back with 3 minutes left. Goudreau has a one-timer that's held. With 1:51 left, the Panthers go to the power play. So that runs to the end of the first period. Obviously, the Wild finish the kill at the start of the second period, and then they get a rush opportunity. They end up getting a power play. That leads to a shorthanded chance for Reinhart that goes wide. Strong forechecking by the Panthers. Boldy to Addison gets picked off. The Wild press. Brodin has a shot that's held. Panthers press with 9 minutes left. Things get punchy when Bobrovsky gets knocked down by his own player. So we end up with 2 minutes of 4-on-4 out of that. Tkachuk has a blast that's held. He was certainly in the midst of a lot of things. That'll surprise people that Tkachuk was in the middle of some scrums tonight. There's a post for Goligoski through a screen. The Wild get a power play, and they score on it. It's Eriksson from Zuccarello and Kaprizov at 12:54. The Wild then press with 5.5 minutes left. Rossi scores. The guy's cursed. And I celebrated. I was so excited. Rossi finally gets his first goal. Didn't he get one taken away last year too? It feels like this isn't the first time we've been like, hey, Rossi got a goal, and then, nope, the hockey gods take it away. So, yeah, it's offside. Things get punchy as a penalty's called. Florida's got a power play. Panthers are denied late. Power play's killed off. So it's 2-0 going into the third period. There's an early power play for the Wild. That gets killed off. Tkachuk to Verhaeghe gets picked off. The shots are only 2 apiece at 5 minutes. Brodin misses one wide on a rush. Tkachuk then has a turnover chance that's saved. Mikkola has a shot that's held as the Panthers press. Things get punchy with 10:06 left. The Wild come out with a power play. Aggressive penalty kill by the Panthers. Things get brawly with 8:15 left. We come out of that with 10 seconds of 4-on-4, and then it's a power play for the Panthers, but everything gets killed off there. Goalie pull happens with 2.5 minutes left. With 53.8 seconds left, Florida calls a timeout. The Panthers pushed, but Gustafson said no. So your final score is 2-0 for Minnesota. They win their home opener. Florida 0-1. Your shots on net, 14-5 Florida in the first, 12-11 Florida in the second, 15-5 Florida in the third. Final shots are 41-21 for Florida. Power plays, Florida 0 for 3, Minnesota 1 for 4. The hits, 15-9 for Minnesota. Bobrovsky saves 19 out of 21. Gustafson saves all 41 shots for the shutout. Just great performance by Gustafson. So there you go. Gustafson, I saw people in the offseason saying, maybe he was a fluke. Early in the season, doesn't look like a fluke. It is very early in the season. All right, next up, Seattle and Nashville. So over the summer, there was a lot of talk about whether or not Seattle might fall back. And I thought, they probably shouldn't fall back, although last year they were the highest scoring team 5-on-5, and I didn't think that would necessarily be sustainable. They have 1 goal in 2 games. So it's Grubauer versus Saros in this one. And the funny thing is, I think Grubauer is giving them the best goaltending he has his entire time in Seattle. I do. Through the first 2 games, I think this is the best he's played. Teams exchange early turnovers. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. It's a little sloppy out of the gate. Glass has a rush chance. That's saved. Preds get some pressure there. The shots on net are 3 apiece at 5 minutes. McDonough has a blast as hell. This Nashville puts on some pressure. There's a strong forecheck by the Preds in this one. I've been really impressed with some of the board play early in the season, just in general. A lot of really good board play. Burakovsky's denied. We get some chance for Saros, the whole juice chance. McCann nearly scores short side. Glass is denied in close. It's a goaltending duel at this point. Kraken press with 6 minutes left, and then with 22.6 seconds left, Nashville gets a power play. So that rolls over into the second period, where it gets worse for Seattle. Becomes a minute and 31 seconds of 5-on-3 when Alexiak pops the puck over the glass without a touch on the glass. Forsberg misses one wide, and then he missed wide on his next blast as well, and the Kraken managed to avoid disaster, and they kill both of those off. And then there's a press by Seattle at 5 minutes. They end up with a power play. Eberle's denied and close. It's cleared, and then it's a breakaway. It's Sissons, and he scores on it, shorthanded, from Cole Smith at 10:24. And then most importantly, Nashville finishes the kill. Then we get a power play for the Preds. Pretty strong shorthanded play by Belmar, and that's killed off. Larson then has a shot that shook up Lauzon. Hopefully Lauzon's fine, but after 2 periods, it's 1-0 Nashville. Third period, early press by the Kraken. Bjorkstrand fires one high. Good board battles going on. Power play then for Seattle. Tolvanen has a shot that deflects wide. They cycle. McDonough blocks. Good power play. It's dangerous, but it's killed off. Both teams shot blocking. Pretty tight game at this stage. Forsberg's denied on a net drive. And then during a delayed penalty, Nyquist scores. Gustav Nyquist with his first as a Pred. Carrier and McDonough with the assists at 10:03. Didn't McDonough have an assist in the first game too? I think he's a scorer. There was not much room for Seattle in the third period. There really, really wasn't. The goalie pull happens with 3 minutes left. There's a post for Bjorkstrand. They were that close to getting on the board. And then Parsonen hits the empty net from the other end of the rink at 18:19, which solidifies the victory. Their final score is 3-0. Nashville goes to 1-1 on the season. Seattle 0-2. And like I said, they only have 1 goal so far this season. Shots on net, 15-12 Nashville in the first, 13-4 Nashville in the second. Both teams had 7 shots in the third. Final shots, 35-23 for Nashville. Power plays, 0 for 2 for Seattle, 0 for 3 for Nashville. Hits, 25-18 for Nashville. Grubauer saves 32 out of 34. Saros saves all 23 shots for a shutout to start the season. Start the season right at home, right? Like they lose in Tampa Bay the other night, but coming home and winning here, well, now your record's even, and they can build on it from here. But yeah, pretty tough night for Seattle and for their fans, I would think. All right, next up, last up for tonight is Vegas and San Jose, and this one had my undivided attention all the way through, and it had a predictable score, predictable finish. There are some positives here for San Jose though, so let's go through it. It's Thompson versus Kakkonen. I was mildly surprised it wasn't Blackwood to start the first game, but again, San Jose not likely to win a bunch of games this year, so yeah. Early edge for Vegas. Kolasar then had a fight with Burrows. I think San Jose fans saw tonight that Burrows throws hits. He's willing to drop the gloves. I like Kyle Burrows. I'm going to miss him in Vancouver just because he gave you an honest effort every night. Shots are only 1 apiece at 4.5 minutes. The Sharks then had a power play. Early clear. The Sharks then set up. Zadina's denied. That ends up being cleared then, and it's killed off by Vegas. Zadina had a good debut for San Jose today. Pressed by Vegas at 8.5 minutes. Zadina to Hurdle gets picked off. We get a power play for the Sharks. Stevenson and Stone were then denied during a shorthanded rush chance that they both had. The power play ends up being killed off, but then shortly thereafter, Amadio scores from Carlson and Haig at 15:25. Carlson went end-to-end on that. Really set it up. Nice play for him. Then there's a near miss for Cunnin. Vegas clears. And then at 17:48, Zadina ties the game. He scores from Thrun and Hurdle. It was a Sharks bounce that ended up getting it over to Zadina. Hey, you need some of those home ice bounces. The Knights then press in the final minute, but it's tied at 1 after the first. Second period, shots are 4-0 for San Jose 2.5 minutes in. So San Jose comes out, puts on some pressure. Raw hits the side of the net on a rush. Barabanov then has a slot shot. That was blocked. Vlasic has a screenshot that was held. And 7 minutes into the period, Vegas had no shots. What have I said about when Vegas doesn't have any shots? Doesn't matter. Throughout the playoffs, Vegas could go half a period with no shots. 15 minutes with no shots. It does not matter. In their first game against Seattle, they went a long period without shots. Doesn't matter. Sharks press with 9.5 minutes left. Cotter to Stone gets picked off. Power play for Vegas. The fans disagree on that one. We get back-to-back early clears. That play's killed off. Haig then fires one high as Vegas presses. Strong game by Thrawn. I thought he was prominent. He did have a couple giveaways here and there, but honestly, for a rookie, I thought he was pretty good. Then Haig scores on a one-timer during a press by Vegas at 18:31. Pietrangelo and Eichel with the assists on that one. And then in 19:24 on a rush, Nick Raw scores. So both Nicks get on the board late in the second period. Kolasar and Ronbjerg with the assists on that one. I like it when Ronbjerg scores because then I can say Ronbjerg. And then Theodore was denied after that. So they tried to go for more. They understood that, there was some vulnerability in that defense and in the goaltending. So after 2 periods, it's 3-1 for Vegas. Third period, Eichel has a rush chance. That was saved. Marchessault has a shot that's held. Good start for Vegas here. Ruda ends up being down. He manages to get up. So hopefully Ruda's not going to be out. Hopefully he's fine. And then Pahal scores his first NHL goal from Carlson and Dorofeev. That's at 2 minutes and 11 seconds. So William Karlsson with 3 helpers tonight. Good night for him. And that was off of a face-off win that they got that goal. Vegas 3 goals on their last 7 shots with that one by Pahal. So once they got the shots, they score. And having a really good shooting percentage is kind of Vegas's game. Cotter is denied as Vegas presses for more. Hurdle breaks up a 3-on-2. The Sharks would press with 7 minutes left. They didn't give up. That's nice to see. Dorofeev to Carlson. There's a near miss there. And then Pietrangelo gets hit with a puck. He was bloodied, but he did leave the ice on his own. My guess is he'll need stitches. He may end up having to wear the full cage for the next game or the full fishbowl, whatever he decides. But I don't think that Pietrangelo is necessarily going to miss action. So Vegas wins this one 4-1. They go to 2-0. That's the 5th time in their 7 years of existence they've been 2-0 to start the season. San Jose predictably loses the home opener. But again, Thrun I thought looked pretty good. I thought there were some good moments there for Vlasic, for Hurdle. It's about finding positives. Shots on net, 13-6 Vegas in the first, 9 apiece in the second, 9-8 Vegas in the third. Final shots, 31-23 for the Vegas Golden Knights. Power plays, Vegas 0 for 1, San Jose 0 for 2. Hits were 19-10 for San Jose. Thompson saves 22 out of 23. It's his first complete game in a while. And Kakinen saves 27 out of 31. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.